A new series of wildfires are blazing in Northern California's wine country, posing major threats to several communities.
The LA Times apologizes for the systemic racism in their coverage and its plans to forge ahead with a new future path.
TikTok is here to stay. The US ban has been temporarily blocked. We spoke with a content creator who is happy that users can continue scrolling.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
3 new wildfires are scorching Northern California's wine country. The fires have destroyed homes in Napa and Sonoma counties. I'm Scorziell, reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Ani-Ofong, also reporting from Los Angeles. The 3 now unified glass incident fires threaten nearly 50,000 residents in the affected area.
As wildfires continue to ravage California, Napa and Sonoma County are the latest areas under siege. The fast-moving glass fire broke out Sunday morning, burning 11,000 acres. We spoke to a culinary student in Napa Valley who was evacuated.
If we looked outside, we could literally see the hill, which is glowing orange. And eventually, school sent us an email saying there was an evacuation zone nearby. Well, so scared about my safety, not particularly. I will say that being outside in the smoke is pretty rough. It's very uncomfortable, but
experts say an increase in lightning strikes this year, along with strong winds, are the reasons for the rapid spread. The 3 converging Northern California fires threaten more than 8,000 structures. Nearly 34,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. We spoke with CAL FIRE spokesperson Lynn Tomokov to learn about the factors that led to the blaze.
The fact that there was 2 other fire starts off of the glass fire, most likely from embers, just tells you exactly how quickly that fire was moving yesterday. Unfortunately, it's just one of those areas that the way the mountains line up and the wind events that they get in that area. And then when we have our typical summertime weather where we don't see any rainfall and everything dries out, it's just ripe to burn.
Evacuation orders are in place for much of wine country, including Santa Rosa, Summerfield, Spring Lakes, Napa Valley, St. Helena, Calistoga south of Lincoln Avenue, and east of the Silverado Trail. In Southern California, the Bobcat fire is currently at 63% containment, and officials say it could be fully contained by Wednesday. The fire, which began 3 weeks ago, has burned more than 114,000 acres and is one of the largest wildfires in LA County history. A red flag warning is in effect through 9 p.m. today due to heavy wind and low humidity. Safety measures include trimming branches 6 feet from the ground, having 100 feet of defensible space around structures, and refraining from lawnmower usage in dry vegetation. Experts say there could be long-term health effects from the fires on LA County residents.
There are definitely what we call acute health effects when wildfire events are happening because the air quality levels are so poor, the pollution is so high, so it could really trigger very acute effects, things like cardiac arrest, heart attacks, strokes. It can really trigger asthma and exacerbate, the conditions of people who already have asthma.
Since this is only the beginning of fire season and more wildfires are expected, it's important for residents to monitor air quality conditions. For more info on air quality resources, go to arb.ca.gov.
Much anticipated information about Trump's tax returns was released yesterday by the New York Times. Its investigation found President Trump paid only $750 in income taxes in 2016 and 2017. We spoke with a student voter about what the investigation and Trump's response meant to them.
I mean, I think Trump throughout his presidency has shown us all that his term fake news really just applies to any, news that he doesn't like personally. And just calling it fake news sort of just says to Trump's following and his supporters, like, don't believe it. There's no way it could be true, even though all the evidence is right there in front of you.
The New York Times investigation includes 18 key findings. President Trump did not pay income taxes in 11 out of the 18 years the Times examined. Many of his signature businesses also reported huge losses to reduce taxable income. Hairstylists, hotel stays, and aircraft trips were also subject to tax deductions. Over the weekend, President Trump officially selected Judge Amy Coney Barrett to replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. Barrett is an originalist, which means she believes the Constitution should be interpreted as the founders intended it when they wrote it. Her philosophy places her among the more conservative members of the court. As a result, some believe that Barrett will be a reliably conservative vote on issues like abortion, healthcare, and the Second Amendment.
The expectation would be that that her appointment to the court would tilt the court majority in ways that would be appealing and advantageous to Republicans and conservatives. Even if she's not a pure partisan on the court, and every ruling isn't openly partisan or seen as like explicitly or directly advancing the interests of conservatives.
I think if conservatives believe she's just going to give them the result they want all the time, they're going to be disappointed, because I do believe she's very sincere when she says that her personal convictions, her personal beliefs, and her personal preferences are irrelevant to her judging. And I think the president in particular, wanting nine people on the court in case there's an election litigation, an election controversy, if there's a belief among some that because he appointed 3 of them, that there would be a result in his favor because of that appointment, I think he will be mistaken on that. He'll be particularly mistaken when it comes to Judge Barrett.
Historically, judges aren't always loyal to the president who appoints them. We can expect to hear a lot about Barrett's nomination tomorrow night at the debate. For Annenberg Media, I'm Luke Scorziell. Back to you, Amanda.
In an effort to prevent visa fraud, the Trump administration proposed new rules that would severely restrict new student visas for international students. Though it's unclear when the rule would take effect, they could impact college campus revenue streams across the United States.
But I think the university themselves are going to suffer, and therefore those Americans who come to this university, they have either to pay higher fees or lower service and not as good educational environment to interact with all of these wonderful foreign students with huge from talent base from all over the world. So they have less opportunities to interact and become more isolated.
It is a restrictionist agenda. It's another step being taken to restrict immigration and to deter people from seeking to come here on international student visas. And I think that the justification, I question whether there's support.
Under the Trump administration's proposed rules, students from certain countries will not be able to stay in the U.S. for more than 2 years. F1 and J1 visa holders will be given a strict 4-year deadline to complete their degree. They will also be given 30 days instead of 60 days to remain in the U.S. after graduating.
The Los Angeles Times released an editorial yesterday reckoning with its history of racism and apologizing for the paper's failures reporting on race over the past 8 decades. The editorial was accompanied by a video highlighting some of the stories that reinforced harmful stereotypes about Black and Latinx Angelenos. The piece also featured interviews with journalists about how they had gone wrong and how they could improve. We spoke with the head of the Los Angeles Times editorial board about the paper's path forward.
So, for us, I hope that it's an invitation to further dialogue. It's an invitation to dig into our archives and look at what happened in the past. But it's also an invitation to, help us become a better institution and help us, produce journalism that's excellent and timely and relevant, that, that makes our communities proud.
Good news for TikTok fans. A judge temporarily blocked Trump's ban of the popular app that's keeping us all entertained during the pandemic. Our reporter, Caleb Michael, has more.
This is Cambry Guest, one of millions of TikTokers in the U.S. who is concerned about the platform's future. Last week, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to ban the service from American app stores. That is until a federal judge blocked the court order, which for Cambry was a relief.
Whenever the rumors of the ban kind of first started going around, I was just getting into the app and just developing a following and an audience and kind of making friends too. It became a really nice little community for me. So I was more sad to just lose the entertainment of the app as a whole. I wasn't as much concerned about me.
For many, TikTok has been a bright spot in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic.
What else am I going to do at 1 a.m. when I can't sleep if I'm not scrolling through my For You page? So
50 million Americans, including myself, use TikTok every day. Users have access to short, engaging videos tailored to every audience. In the last 6 months, usage has went through the roof. And for many content creators, it's opening doors beyond social media.
I've been able to get some compensation for partnerships of sharing videos or products or kind of different services or workouts for me, more specifically in my platform.
There is still a much larger ban coming on November 12th that has not been blocked. For Annenberg Media, I'm Caleb Michael.
Hi, I'm Carlo Jiménez, reporting from Campbell, California. A lot of news out of the LA sports scene this week, but we start with a team that is not playing. The Clippers have parted ways with head coach Doc Rivers after being bounced from the second round of the playoffs by the Denver Nuggets. In a statement on Twitter, Rivers said, quote, "When I took this job, my goals were to make this a winning basketball program, a free agent destination, and bring a championship to this organization. I won't be able to see them all through." Rivers closes his Clippers chapter as the most successful coach in the team's history, reaching the playoffs 6 times in 7 years, a feat that only happened 9 times in the previous 43 years of the franchise. Rivers is also the 4th black head coach let go this season, leaving only Cleveland's J.B. Bickerstaff, Detroit's Dwayne Casey, Phoenix's Monty Williams, and Atlanta's Lloyd Pierce as the remaining black head coaches in the NBA. Rachel Grode is out this week breaking down defenses with the USC football team, but we'll still catch you up on 2 LA teams gearing up for the playoffs. We start at the Diamond, where the Dodgers came into the game with a league-best 116 home runs as a ball club and added 2 more by the way of A.J. Pollock as he blasts his second home run of the game over the center field wall. The Freeway Series was one-way traffic as the Dodgers swept the Angels and finished with the best record in baseball. They will face the Milwaukee Brewers to open up the Wild Card Series on Wednesday. From Disneyland to Disney World, the Lakers advanced to the NBA Finals as they took Game 5 over the Denver Nuggets on Saturday. LeBron James was on a mission, finishing with 38 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. The message he gave after the game was one Laker fans have heard before.
Well, for me personally, the job is not done, but it's great to hit moments throughout the course of a journey and appreciate that. And this is all part of the process, but the job is not done for me personally.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Okay.
That's all we have for sports. Let's toss it to our news anchors.
Last night, Jewish people began to observe Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism. This day is usually commemorated with a 24-hour fast from sundown to sundown. However, as social gatherings are limited this year due to COVID-19, Yom Kippur is expected to look a little different this year.
This year is definitely different with COVID because even I would either go to Hillel or Chabad in previous years at USC, but now since there's nothing really in person, it's just virtual. So I've just kind of spent most of my day at home.
So usually I don't fast, because it's really hard to fast and also drive and do school and do a rehearsal. But this time I am, and it's great because I can go to services and I can really have that sort of meditative practice. You know, a positive side considering everything that's going on.
Taylor Swift's new album, Folklore, has set a record on the Billboard 200. It's now been the #1 album on the charts for 47 weeks. Swift surpassed Whitney Houston's previous record for most weeks at #1 for a female artist. The music video for the album's most streamed song, Cardigan, was released on YouTube.
Yeah, so look, actually last semester I had this roommate who was obsessed with Taylor Swift, and I just couldn't get enough of her. But I haven't listened to the new album yet. Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I actually did listen to the new album. It's a little bit different than what she normally puts out, but Cardigan is such a good song. I've actually had it on repeat the last 2 days. But yeah, that wraps it up for us on this Monday. Thanks for tuning in.
From Annenberg TV News, have a good night.